right, so how much does it cost to K-swap a G35 or a 350Z? I've got a lot of questions, a lot of DMs asking how much it cost me to K-swap my G35. So today I'm going to go through the parts list and just put all the prices up, and then any kind of important things I'll throw a screenshot up on the screen. Any of the general stuff like gaskets, plugs, sensors, and whatnot, I'll just mention them and throw them into the cost. We'll go through everything. I'll give you all the prices. All the prices are going to be current date prices. Obviously, you can buy used parts. You can find parts on sale, Black Friday stuff, etc. The prices I'm going to be showing you are the prices on the websites today, and it's also going to be in Canadian currency because I'm Canadian. All right, to get started, you're going to need a motor. The best option here is to go with a 06 to 08 K24A2. To get a K24A2 with full accessories, basically everything you're going to need on it, it's going to cost you around $1,000 to $1,200. The next thing you're going to need is an intake manifold. You could use the S2000 intake manifold with the adapter kit that they make. It might be a little bit cheaper. They also make a K-Power manifold, a K-Power rear wheel drive manifold, but I use the Skunk 2 Ultra Street intake manifold. Next on the list here, we have a 72mm throttle body made up to that Skunk 2 manifold, a custom oil pan on a Track Tough billet flange, which ran me about $800 in total. I did pay for that one to be fabricated. Engine mounts, about $200 just because that was only material. I did all the fabricating myself. All right, next is a few coolant things. We have a coolant port adapter, the coolant housing, the swivel thermostat housing, Honda aluminum half rad, and then a 12-inch slim fan for that half rad, where you can get those off Amazon. They're about 50 bucks. I did welded 10AN valve cover bungs, which I already had them, so that was free. I would just welded them on. 10AN catch can kit was about $120. 10AN billet timing cover drain, billet hardline block off, and K-Power AC and power steering delete kit. Outside all that, I do have a list of all the OEM gaskets and sensors and whatnot I did replace, so I'm just going to throw a small list up here and I will add that all into the price, but I will not go through all that in the video. Now that we have covered all the engine accessories and the cooling system, we will move on to all you'll need to apply boost to the K24 and all the fueling. So yeah, we'll get to that and move on to the trans and the clutch and all that, the driveline in the next segment there. Okay, so we will move on to fuel. As far as the fueling goes for this car, I am running a set of Fuel Injector Clinic 2150cc injectors, a Hellcat 525 fuel pump. It has an aftermarket fuel rail. I am running an inline 6AN fuel filter. It has full 6AN feed and return lines, CJM fuel return kit, and an aftermarket fuel pressure regulator. For as far as boost goes, we're running a 6266 Bold Boost Performance billet wheel turbo, a custom log style manifold, custom 3-inch hood dump, 2.5-inch intercooler piping, Yonica 700 horsepower rated intercooler, electronic boost controller, a Tile MVR 44mm wastegate, a Tile blow-off valve, a custom wastegate dump tube, and I had converted all the vacuum lines over to push lock fittings and threw in a vacuum block so it all runs to one source. So now that we have all that covered, we'll go through the transmission, what clutch I'm using, the flywheel, etc. And at the end of that, we will cover the wiring and any special sensors that you will need when converting over to the K-Series and using the wiring specialties harness. We'll get to that, and then that'll be the end of the video. Transmission and wiring. For the transmission, I'm using a factory CD transmission that comes standard in all G35 and 350Zs. To get that to made up to the K24, I'm using the Collins adapter kit, which comes with the Collins adapter plate and the Collins billet flywheel. You will have to buy manual Honda OEM flywheel bolts. The best upgrade for the G35s and 350Zs, the RJM clutch pedal assembly. I did upgrade to the chromoly pivot ball. I went over to the coil throwout bearing with the new slave cylinder and whatnot when I replaced all that. as well as doing a braided clutch line and a short shifter. Over to the wiring and sensors. I'm using a custom wiring harness from Wiring Specialties. That harness runs to a K-Pro V4 ECU. I'm using an AEM wideband, Burton 4-bar map sensor, and a QD-TPS, AEM oil pressure sensor, and you will have to switch over to the LS1 coolant temperature sensor to use the Wiring Specialties harness. Alrighty, we made it. Got through everything. Obviously, there's a lot more stuff that I've added to this car. I'm just gonna do a list, separate slide, all the stuff that I've done to the car that has nothing to do with the K-swap itself and making this a K-powered car, such as the interior, like the bucket seats, the harnesses, roll bar, just stuff like that, coilovers and whatnot. I'll break that all down, and yeah. Like I was saying, there's a lot of stuff that's in this car that doesn't necessarily have to be done for it to be K-swapped, such as seats, harnesses, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to read through a quick list here of stuff that I've done to the car, and we'll add it to the grand total and get this video finished up. To get it started, we have our Sparco Sprint seats. We have both the passenger and driver seat. Takata harnesses, both passenger and driver as well. A 4-point roll bar. Nismo shift knob, suede headliner, seat brackets, touchscreen radio, boost gauge, oil temp gauge, water temp gauge, AEM AFR gauge, triple gauge pillar, fire extinguisher, and then onto the suspension wheels, brakes, and whatnot. Fully adjustable coilovers, rear camber arms, front camber arms, 18x10.5 drag radials, Brembo 4 pistons, which are stock, Brembo pads, drilled and slotted rotors, and then the body kit stuff, just like the Kuruma front bumper, the side skirts, wrap, and all that. All right, guys, and that's the end of the video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Go over to my Instagram and TikTok to see more content, more daily content on the K-Swap G35. Obviously, there's a lot more content posted on my Instagram and my TikTok than there is on my YouTube. If you're looking to see more, head over there. Both are Clutch Media, 2 A's at the end. Yeah, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.